Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm preparing to do my Midwest upgrade on my AK-47. In case you missed the prior video, on this AK in the past, basically what I had is I had the red dot mounted on a side rail. And the problem I have is basically the locking mechanism broke on this. And I've never been able to get better than 6 MOA on this gun, and I think that the reason is because by design, I mean, as you push basically by design, this has to move. I mean, there's a limit to how sturdy this is going to be. I mean, just because it's, you have a system that starts from here, comes up, loops around. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It's not like, like the rail, the upper rail on an AR-15, which is basically a solid block. Okay, so basically I was considering my options. Basically, my options were to pay $100 and get a Midwest replacement side rail, which might have been better, but it's still, I think, theoretically is a flawed design. The only good thing about this rail is that you can put you can mount a a magnification scope, on this rail. Whereas if I put the rail up here, which is I'm going to be doing today, you can't put a magnification scope up there because you don't have, proper parallax. So I went through my options, and I was considering putting a gas tube rail, which is also going to cost me $100. And the problem with the gas tube rail is that it's actually sitting on the gas tube, and it gets really hot. And then I found a cheaper option that just works better. It's a better design for the Midwest. Get this up. It's a better design, and we'll open it up and we'll take a look at it. And I'll go as far as I can with this installation. Well, I'm not going to go too far with it because I don't want the video to get too boring. But basically this piece here is going to replace the bottom forearm. And then this piece here goes in between. It goes on top of the barrel to basically lock it down. And then this piece basically goes on top like that. And then the red dot's going to sit on top of this, and that's going to be a house that I'm putting on it. This is the second time I'm doing this upgrade. I've done it before on my I did it on the Yugo M92, which is basically an AK pistol, and it took a while for it to grow on me as far as the idea of having the red dot up here, but now I pretty much love it, which is pretty much what other AK shooters have told me that I would learn to love it, and I did. And occasionally, with the AR-15s, you got your red dot back here, and you're just used to seeing the red dot back here. But if you think about it, it's not, moving. Well, first of all, on this size, the gas tube is right here, so it's really not sitting too far forward. It's not back here. But if you're using your iron sights, you got your rear sight here and your front sight there, and it's just right in front of the rear sight, which you're used to looking at anyway if you're using the iron sights. And you got, normally when you shoot, you got to focus on your front sight anyway, your front sight post. So your eye should be focusing up here when you're shooting. So it's, it doesn't take that much effort to adjust. Okay, so like I said, I did this on my AK pistol. I loved it, and now I'm going to be doing it on this. So Midwest, basically this cost me it was $85 with the shipping. I think it came out to something like $95, which was the cheapest option, and I also think that it is the best option. Okay, and as a bonus, they sent me these plastic grips that will basically go on top of the handguard so that you can grip it. And the reason is because this basically attaches to the barrel, and the barrel on an AK gets hot, a lot hotter than the barrel of an AR-15, just because you're shooting a bigger bullet, so it gets hotter faster. I mean, obviously an AR-15 will get hot as well, but this gets hotter faster because you're burning more gunpowder every time you pull the trigger. So as a bonus, they gave me these plastic key mod grips that will go on top of the grip, and you can grip that So that's pretty cool. And they sent me these, it's kind of funny, they sent me these two things that I guess you put your cup in there and it keeps your cup hot or cold. And at this point I have 4 of them. And this morning, I have 2 toddlers. I have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and basically they put this over their fists and they were basically boxing each other. So thank you Midwest for providing my kids with boxing gloves. Okay, so let's put that down, and I'm gonna go as far as I can with this until I think that the video's getting a little too long and boring. Basically, this cheek piece here is gonna come off. I'll deal with that last because that's really not important. This is a pretty cheap one. I mean, it worked pretty good, but this is definitely not something you would want to take to battle. I mean, the stock is good, but the cheek piece is pretty cheap. And the thing with the, you know, when you're using, basically with this design here, you're raising the red dot, you know, above your iron sights, and your stock is basically set up to use your, you know, for iron sight height. So what happens is when you use this type of a system, you have to change your stock or adjust your stock. So the nice thing about this is by using this, there's actually less parts going into this gun. Okay, so that piece is going to come off, and obviously I'm not going to need the side mount anymore. The nice thing about the AK is that, you know, just like picking it up and looking at it, you can see the hammer. I can see the hammer is forward. You know, I mean, I checked this before to make sure it wasn't loaded anyway. But at a glance, you could just look at an AK, turn to the side, and you can see that the hammer is forward unless you're in the dark, and you know that the gun basically cannot fire. So that's a nice little feature of the AK. So let's take that off. Take the spring out. Pull the bolt out. I probably have, how many rounds on this? I don't know, probably, well, let's say at least 500 rounds on this, and it's not bad. I mean, it's been at least 500 rounds since I cleaned this, and I'll typically go a couple of thousand rounds before I bother cleaning an AK-47. Bring the hammer forward. I mean, it's just not an issue cleaning AK-47s. So let's move that forward. Let's get this box out of the way. And now there's a little piece over here that you flip that up, and that's gonna get the gas tube up. And let's see, looks like it's biting into my hand a little bit. Maybe use a little piece of metal here. Come on. Alright. Like I said, if I feel like the video is getting a little boring, I'm just going to cut it. But I wanted you guys to get an idea of what's involved with this. Let's try it with this. There we go. Alright. So that's the little piece you got to flip up. Okay, it just flips up. And that should release the, there you go, that came out nice and easy. The gas tube. And here's the thing, basically this gas tube, okay, this is kind of one of the things I wanted to show you about this. This gas tube pretty much has to come out because this gas tube is basically going to go on this new, on this new furniture. So we need this gas tube. And the last time I did this upgrade, it was a pain in the balls to get this out of the wood. And I had to actually watch the video on how to do this. And basically, I'm just going to pass along the information now by doing it again. So basically, you put this in a wrench like this, and then you basically just twist it out. And this one came out really easy. On the M92 that I had, on the AK pistol, I probably spent more time trying to get this out, to separate this wood from the gas tube. And I beat the crap out of the wood, so I probably wouldn't be able to use that wood. This basically, I would have no trouble going back to this if I wanted. So that came out. Let's see, is there anything else here? Any buttons? It looks like I don't see anything. I think this just goes. You just gotta knock it forward, I believe. Wait, hold on. There's a. Let's take this. Let's do this. Let's take out the cleaning rod. This has an original AK cleaning rod. You gotta spin that out. Get that out of there. Because I'm pretty sure that that is gonna get in our way. So let's get that clean right out of there. Might get it. It's a Russian design, so it's probably reverse threaded. Oh, well, you know, I think you just gotta pull it forward. Okay, it's not threaded at all. You just gotta actually pull it down and pull it up. Obviously, I've got to remove this cleaner. Oh, there is a threading in there. So there's a threading in there. That's where you would run a cloth through. And then basically, once it comes to there, you gotta pull it out and yank it up that way. So that's out. Now, I believe, well, actually, there, I almost forgot about, yeah. There's a little piece in there that you gotta flip up. And I thought there was something there, but I could not see it because it blends in with the wood so much. You gotta actually flip that up. There we go, got it forward. And I believe that's going to, this releases this piece. So yeah, as you can see, these are tools that you're going to need. So you need just a simple screwdriver. You're going to need this to remove the gas block, or the gas tube rather. And then let's see if we can hit this with a mount. There we go. And basically that slides up like that. And voila, it's up. This is nice. And like I said, I have not cleaned this in at least 500 rounds. And it's, I mean, I got no complaints about this. This is clean enough for me. I would probably run like 3,000 rounds before I bother cleaning this. So I'm just gonna kind of place the things here, put the things in their place to demonstrate what this is gonna be like, and then I'm gonna go back and actually do it. There's a piece that we need. Okay, so there's a piece over here, this little piece of wood, and that's going to basically go in there, and I'm going to have to basically file this down and trim it to make it fit in this square over here. It's going to fit in there, and they made it a little too long. They do it on purpose so that you can get it nice and snug. So I'm going to grind that down, and what that's going to do is that's going to go in there, and then this lip here is going to go into the front of this, and this is like, it keeps this thing from spinning on your barrel. But it wouldn't spin anyway. The other one that I did, the M92, didn't even have that piece. Basically because it just clamps down. But what's going to happen is that that's going to go in here. This is going to go in front of it like that. Then there's this clamp that's going to basically go on top of here like this. Right? So that's going to clamp onto the barrel. Okay? And then what's going to happen is the rail, once that gets in place, the rail is going to basically go, the rail is going to basically go on top of that. Like that. So that's, actually the gas, I almost forgot the gas. The gas tube has got to go in there. The gas tube, we'll have to work on that, and then that's going to go on top of that like that. Okay. So that's basically what that is, how that's going to go together. The one thing that's important, let me put this down for a second. What's basically, I'm going to use a couple of blocks in a second to kind of get this flat, okay? And then very important when you use this, once you, oops, let me get that. Very important, once I get this flat, I'll just use a box for now. Okay. So let's say I'm using this box here. which I may end up using if it's working. Get that flat like that. I'm going to use something else. It's probably good like that. And then what you can do is use the leveler and you get your receiver perfectly balanced. Okay, and then once you go, then you can put stuff underneath your block or whatever you're using to get this thing perfectly balanced. Oops, gotta go the other way. So that's going to go like that. So basically you get that balance like that. Once you got that balanced, right, you basically lock that in place. And then once you get your rail on, right, then you're basically going to go on top of here and get this balanced, right? Make sure that this doesn't have a twist to the left or to the right. So you want this and that to be perfectly leveled using a leveler, because then this is going to support your red dot, and you want your red dot to sit perfectly level on top of your rifle. Okay? So that's what's involved with this upgrade. And it should be, I mean, one of my thoughts has always been that this piece over here, right, where the rear sight sits, they should, I mean, with new modern AK-47s, they should make that a Picatinny rail, okay, and then they can put, because it's probably the best place on this rifle to put a rail, and then what they could do is they could just put a rear sight on the, on the dust cover, which is obviously is not going to be the best, but it'll be good enough as a backup sight at close distance, because at this point in the game, pretty much everybody's using a red dot on their rifles, and the rear sight basically functions as a backup. So that's what I think that they should do with AK-47s going forward. But however, this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to work with, and like I said, I've already done this. I already did this upgrade on my AK pistol, and I love it. And can't wait to finish this. I'm going to probably see, once you put the screws in, you have to Loctite them. They give you a special blue Loctite. One of the things to know is you have to use. You can't just use the Loctite that you buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot, because heat weakens that. Okay, these Loctites that they give you are heat resistant. Okay, so there's a couple of different Loctites out there that they make that are heat resistant. So you can't just use the Loctite that you find at the hardware store. So that's one of the things for you guys to be aware of. But thanks for watching. I'll look forward to this. I'm going to have to, once I put this together, I'm going to let the Loctite, sit overnight, and then I'll looking forward to taking this gun out tomorrow and seeing hopefully how much better my accuracy has improved with this new rail system. Talk to you guys soon.